Welcome guys to the Meet Damien channel. I am Damien. Today's live stream we'll be talking about Ethereum and some of these altcoins that are still alive and kicking, and they're going up to new higher prices for some of them. Ethereum has not been this high since I mean, we're looking at Ethereum right now on the charts. Ethereum has not been this high since since like December of last year. We're really going for it this time on Ethereum. Ethereum is up another $177 today, up 4.93%. And I titled the live stream that altcoins are going up this weekend and they're being led by Ethereum. And I feel like that's the case, but there are some other coins that are also going up higher than Ethereum. If you look over to the right, you can see like Aerodrome is up 9.9%. Sui's up 4.19%. Cardano up 4.5%. I mean, a lot of them are up about 4%, but then you got other ones that are like AI16Z up like 8.6% today. Bitcoin Cash up 7%. Hive Mapper up 14.5%. So there's some cryptocurrencies that are doing a little bit better than Ethereum. But Ethereum has such a high market cap that it's probably doing a lot of damage to the Bitcoin dominance. Let's take a look at Bitcoin dominance real quick here. Let's see if I can pull this up real quick here. Usually I have it. Yeah, Bitcoin dominance is still nosediving right now as we speak. Up, down 60. Is that 60.99%? Down 1% today. And we're clearly going below this 200-day moving average. This is a lot stronger move than what we saw back in May. Okay, May of 2025 here. We had what felt like a really good, exciting altcoin, the beginning of an altcoin season, but then we quickly reversed when that Bitcoin dominance hit the 50-day moving average, and then we just kept going up on Bitcoin dominance until now. You know, what has changed? What has caused us to actually go down below the 200-day moving average on the Bitcoin dominance? And I believe it had to do with the Genius Act getting passed on Friday, stablecoin bills getting passed, a lot of crypto regulation got passed. So now the banks and institutions, they can participate and start pouring more money into the space. And then we recently just had a Solana ETF get approved in July. I think that's also helping. And we're probably going to see some more Solana ETFs, and then we'll probably see an XRP ETF. So this could be the beginning of something great here, guys. I'm trying to contain my excitement, but when I start seeing things show up on the charts and we're seeing all the money pouring into the space, you have to be a little bit excited, okay? Because we haven't seen something like this since at least December of last year, and we knew how good the altcoin season was back in December of last year, okay? Unfortunately, we reversed and we came back up on the Bitcoin dominance, but I mean, this thing is just cratering and nosediving, and it's starting to lead me to believe that we might see something more like back in 2021, where, you know, we saw Bitcoin dominance go down and go below the 200-day moving average, and then we just kept on crashing down on the Bitcoin dominance. I'm hoping we get something like this, because if we get something like this, where we're clearly below all the moving averages, including the 200-day moving average, and we just keep on cratering down on the Bitcoin dominance, that's going to give us the that's going to give us the altcoin season that we've all been waiting for and been hearing about from our friends and whoever's been involved in crypto, telling us about how great crypto can be and how the altcoins made them so much money. This is how you make a lot of money on the altcoins. You want to see something like this, like we had back in May and June of 2021, okay? I'm hoping we get something like that, where we see Bitcoin dominance come down to like 40%. I think that's a reasonable target in this cycle. You know, after Bitcoin dominance got as high as about 65%, you know, it would be nice to see if us get into like the 50s and then the 40s on the dominance, because that's going to give us a lot of money for our altcoins. And I just want to do a quick sound check. Let me make sure You guys can hear me here. Alright, I can hear myself. Good. Alright, let's see what you guys have to say in the comments here. I know we're talking about Bitcoin dominance again, but that's how we measure whether we're in an altcoin season or not. Harvard Digital Marketing is asking what website is this. I am using TradingView, www.tradingview.com. You can go on there and look at the charts yourself. You're not going to be able to get as many indicators if you're not using a subscription. Subscriptions are like $100 or something like $200 a year, I believe. But if you want to do the free version just to get familiar with it, you can do that, and then you won't have as many indicators as I do. But that's how I started when I first started using TradingView, before I started paying for the subscription here. Let's see. I'm just scrolling back to the comments here. I see Idris in the chat. Nice to see you. Good to see you, bro. Asking me, is it a good time to buy ZBEC, or it's already up a lot? Yeah, it feels like a lot of these altcoins are up. It's hard to get a good position in right now. I feel like a lot of FOMO's in the market right now. If you see things go down, or if you see something go sideways, it might be a chance, an opportunity for you to get in. But with prices rising, it's gonna feel like you can't get a good, you're gonna be wondering, is it a good time to buy? And it's gonna be harder to buy things when everything keeps going up. That I'm starting to notice this week. Let's see. Idris says, I wish I bought Pepe yesterday. I even asked you this, but I didn't buy. Now it's up a lot. Yeah, I feel the same way. I have a little extra cash myself. I sold some. I know the XRP guys aren't going to like to hear this, but I actually did sell some XRP on Friday. And I sold a little bit of Sui as well. And now it's like, man, things are going back up to where I sold it at. And they might go up again some more. I want to see how Wall Street reacts to crypto going up this weekend. We might get punched in the mouth by Wall Street if they want to click the sell button. They have a lot more money to move the markets. So I want to see how things are tomorrow on Monday. And see if Wall Street decides to join the frenzy and buy, or if they're going to dump on us and ruin our little party here this weekend. But yeah, I understand that. We can take a look at Pepe as well. But we'll look at ZBEC first, and then let's see if any other requests here. Am I gonna get some DGen coin? Maybe, I don't know. Let's see. Harren is asking me, what do I think about Nair, Sui, and Tia? Oh man. I forgot to grab a piece of paper to write these things down, but I got it. I got you in the comments here. I see that you made like 3 requests there. Okay. Let's see. And then what else do we got here? Audrey says you want to buy Pepe now, but you think it's not worth it. It's already up a lot. Yeah. It's tough. It's tough. If you see things going sideways, or if you see things going down, might be a chance to buy. But you know what? If you might have to just maybe, not financial advice, but whatever you plan on putting into Pepe, maybe put like 25% of it in. Just that way, if the thing keeps going up, you're still benefiting from it a little bit. But having nothing and watching the prices go up, I know it hurts a lot. So maybe putting like 25 or 30% of your position now, and then if it does go down lower than where you bought it at, then you can put the rest of the 75% that you were planning on buying into Pepe. Just a strategy, especially when things get a little bit crazy like this. The FOMO gets a little bit crazy. Road Therapy is asking about XYO. Okay, we'll take a look at XYO. Let's first get started with Pepe, and then we're gonna look at. we're gonna look at Pepe, and then we're gonna look at ZBEC, and then we'll look at Sui and Nair Protocol. Yeah, let me get started here for you guys. All right. So first order of business, Pepe. Take a look at Pepe on Binance. Yeah, sure. So Pepe currently trading at 1,453, up 8% today. I can see why that kind of hurts to see Pepe go up like that when you're trying to buy it at lower prices. And that's the thing about the markets, you know, the markets will play games with you. But you got to have a strategy, and you got to figure out where the zones are that you want to be buying at. So Pepe is actually coming up on the 0.786 retracement here at 13.97. We actually got above that. Pepe could continue not even respecting the TA and just continue going up to like higher prices. That's why I say maybe you should put a little bit in now, and then if it does come down, maybe buy some more at lower prices. And if it does come down, it might come right back down to 13.97. Right now we're a little bit above that. Okay, another buy zone if you can, if it's possible, you could probably buy some Pepe at 12.47 or 12.11, which is where the golden pocket is, this orange level here. But this is a meme coin, and meme coins usually do not respect the TA, and they will go up and they will go hard and rip on you. They'll do like a face melting rally on you. So I would say, you know, just with Pepe being a meme coin, buy a little bit now, and then see how you feel about it tomorrow. The price goes down tomorrow, buy some more tomorrow. Okay. But yeah, this thing could easily come up to 1600, and then the next level after that's going to be 1900. We talked about this yesterday, and I think you kind of remember these Fibonacci levels that I had here. But yeah, that's you know, these prices are the levels that Pepe could possibly go to, and we know Pepe could go even further than that because we have seen Pepe at like 2700 back in December, and I think that's where Pepe's going to want to go next. So, you know, just choose your levels. Strategically put your stop loss. You can put your stop loss right above, I'm sorry, right below this candle wick low here. This is a higher low here on the daily chart. We got as low as like 1166. So maybe you can put your stop loss at like 1150 or 1100 if you want to give it a little bit more room to breathe. But yeah, I think stop loss at 1100. You can buy in now, and then you just go along for the ride here. See if the thing goes to higher prices on you. Okay. And then, you know, as it goes to higher prices, you know, if Pepe gets up to like 1600 or even 1900, you can move your stop loss right back to break even, so you don't lose money if it does come down to where you bought it at. That's a strategy that I think would be helpful, so you don't lose money trying to get into this asset here. Okay. But yeah, that's Pepe in a nutshell. Let's take a look at ZBet. And guys, don't forget to hit the like button for my TikTok guys. If you double tap your screen, that's how we get the likes here. So yeah, especially if I'm going over your coins and you're enjoying the analysis here, don't forget to hit that like button. Appreciate it. Alright, so now we're looking at ZBet, currently trading at 31,680. I do have a level here to watch out for if ZBet can get past this 37,300 level here, which is where we had some candlewick closes and body closes here. This is a level where I think ZBet could shoot off, it could shoot up like a rocket to higher prices here. And if it does shoot up to higher prices here, let me turn the BRVP here. We got this green and red indicator here on the right. Yeah, once we get past like the 42,000 level here on ZBet, we're looking at maybe some resistance in between 42,000 and 50,000. But then after that, we got a little drop here, and we could easily shoot up right up to like 62,000 on ZBet. And I think that should be an area where you should be targeting, because 62,000 would be pretty much a double in price from where you are right now, and I would definitely be clicking the sell button if I doubled my money in any of these cryptos here. Okay. But on the downside, if ZBet decides to come back down for whatever reason, downside targets, you might have some support on the 100-day moving average sitting at 23,750, and then you might even get some more support at the 200-day moving average at 20,000 for ZBet here. Okay. So the moving averages should act as support. Right now, the 50-day, this green line is acting as support. So if you're day trading it, or you want a tighter stop loss, you can probably put your stop loss right below this last higher low here on the chart at like 28,200, maybe a little bit below that at like 28,000 or 27,900. I put the stop loss right over here, and if if ZBAC comes down and you get stopped out, right, then there might be something wrong with ZBAC, and you probably don't want to stick around for that. However, if it does come down, stops you out, then comes back up to the stop loss level and goes up higher, then you know that there was another higher low here, probably a liquidity grab, and you can re-enter the trade and just put your stop loss below whatever low gets created on the daily chart here. But that's how I would try to play ZBAC right now. Just put the stop loss right at 28,000 or 27,900. Okay. Moving on to some other cryptos here. I think we're gonna look at Sui and Near Protocol. Yeah. All right. Let's take a look at Near Protocol, because I haven't looked at that one in a while. Appreciate that request. Wow, okay. So Near Protocol is catching some bids, but a lot of these cryptos have been catching bids this past week. Let me get rid of the VRVP for now. We're just looking at Near Protocol trading at $3.06, up 5% today. And Near Protocol is at an interesting area because you do have the 200-day moving average, which could act as resistance. This thing is finally peeking its head above the 200-day moving average, sitting at $3.02. I would expect Near Protocol probably it might continue to move up and go to like 330 or 340, but then I'm expecting it to come right back down to $3 again. Maybe do a peekaboo, kind of like jump up above and then come back down again, splashing into the water again at the 200-day moving average. And yeah, let's see what the RSI looks like, because this thing has already made a pretty violent impulse move this past week. I'm expecting the RSI to be overbought. And yeah, the RSI, relative strength indicator, is showing that we are overbought on Near Protocol at 76.63. I would be careful with this one. I mean, even though it's in overbought territory and it could stay overbought, it could also come right back down on you, kind of like it did right here in May, where we went overbought and then we came back down. If I go back to the charts here again, you can see like back here in May, we were overbought on Near Protocol, and then we came back down again. I'm a little bit worried that the same thing could happen again here for Near Protocol, and we might come back down. But we might actually go a little bit further to like 330, 360, and then come back down to $3. Or we could just start the move down right now, maybe get some support off the 100-day moving average sitting at $2.55. So that's something to keep in mind. Since we're now in overbought territory, I would not be trying to buy Near Protocol. I would be trying to sell this and take some profit right now. But you can do whatever you want to do, because it's your money, not my money, and this is not financial advice. But in my opinion, I would be looking to take profit on Near Protocol. Let's see what Near Protocol looked like on the week, so you can understand how much money has been made this past week, or how much of a performance it had. Near Protocol is up about 21% this week, so that's pretty decent, And then it was also up 16% the week before that, so you are getting some green candles here, and you need to see that if we're going to be having an altcoin season, and if this thing is going to outperform and make some money. You want to see this recovery back to higher prices here. Looks like we had a green dot here on Market Cipher B saying that you should have been buying Near Protocol around the first week of July. But usually after the green dot comes a red dot. So when you see a red dot show up on Market Cipher B, this is this indicator on the bottom, blue and yellow and green and red dots here. If you see a red dot show up on the weekly chart, then that probably means it's going to be a bad week for Near Protocol, and you probably want to get out when you see that red dot show up. Last red dot that we had was around June 2nd. Okay. Now we had a green dot here on July 7th, and now the next dot should be a red sell dot, and we don't know when that's going to happen, but when it does, and it happens on the weekly chart here, might be a good time to take profit and sell your Near protocol. All right, so that's Near protocol. Let's take a look at the SUI. All right, I see my YouTube guys have started to show up here in the chat. We got Joe, Trade Intuition, and we have HRJ Trading. Okay, we're talking about Near protocol. You think it's gonna go to 360? That's cool. I think it might do that too. And you're welcome for the technical analysis. I'm glad you're enjoying the TA here. And Joe, I'll give you a shout out on your channel, Joe. Right now I got a lot of requests for coins, but I will do that shout out for your YouTube channel. Let me just finish up my analysis here on SUI, and then I'll try to show my viewers here your channel. All right. So we're looking at SUI currently trading at $3.99. Let me get rid of some of this previous analysis here. You can see that SUI had a pretty good month of July. We caught the bids here towards the last week of June. You know, up 18% the week of last week of June. Then another, a slight marginal 0.32% the week after that, and then the first week of July, we were up 19%, and then here we are the second week of July, and we're up 14% on SUI. So SUI catching those bids. You got a higher low forming here on the weekly chart. Let's go into the daily chart, see what things look like on the daily chart. And SUI, I can be bullish on SUI because we have clearly gotten above the 200-day moving average, which is this red line on my chart here. And we didn't do a back test. We kind of almost did a back test here in the middle of July, but not really. We didn't actually test the 200-day moving average before we started catching some more bids on SUI. And now SUI, right? This is a cryptocurrency that's hard to actually try to catch a dip. I mean, you can see like right here on Tuesday, July 15th, we had a red candle the next day, okay, and that would have been a slight dip below 3.8%, and then we had a small green candle after that, and then we had another red candle on Friday, July 18th, right, which was what, this Friday, right? SUI ended up going up to like $4.25, but then we closed out at $3.78, and that was literally your dip. After we just went up to like a high of $4.25, the dip was only down to $3.78, and now SUI is recovering from that dip and it's going up to higher prices again. And that's why it's very it's very difficult to gauge how to buy the dip, especially on a hot cryptocurrency like SUI. It's almost like if you see it go sideways, that's the dip. That's the dip. Especially in the bull market, especially with the way things might be going over the next few weeks and few months here. We got so many positive catalysts. We had that Genius Act that got passed, the stablecoin bill that got passed. And then who knows, this week we're supposed to have the Federal Reserve. If the Federal Reserve surprises us and lowers interest rates, then these things are going to shoot up like a rocket and continue on for like the rest of the year going up, in my opinion. But, the Federal Reserve, there's a lot of pressure for them to lower interest rates. Donald Trump is threatening to fire Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell if he doesn't lower interest rates, and he's putting pressure on him to get fired. So there might be, a little bit of sway to actually get them to lower interest rates, and that could happen this month, or it could happen. They take a break in August, but they could lower interest rates in September for the following meeting. So, and if that happens, that's going to be even better for crypto, and we're going to go to higher prices if that happens. And SUI is going to be one of the benefactors to that going forward. But yeah, let me get back into some TA here. Let me quickly do a fib analysis here on SUI, measuring from like the $4.29 level down to the swing low here at like $2.29. Let me see, yeah, was it $2.29 that we got down to? Yeah, about $2.30, around that area. So yeah, This is my Fibonacci analysis for SUI. Upside targets, we have a 1272 that says that SUI could get up to like $4.85. And then we have a 1618 that says SUI could get up to like 554. I would expect that probably not this month. I mean, we still got like 11 more days left in this month. But maybe next month we might see a $5 SUI. Okay. But right now, you know, SUI kind of like trying to break through this 786 retracement level. It did the back test, and it looks like we didn't even get down to the golden pocket before this thing started getting bought up again. Actually, no, I take that back. We kind of did. We got front run on the golden pocket. The golden pocket 0.65 level was at $3.60. We came down to 365 on Friday. We quickly got bought up and got sent right back up to the 786 retracement level. And I'm expecting the next level of resistance to be $4.30 for SUI, but I'm not sure how much that level is going to get respected, because that was only a level. The reason why I have that level here is because that's where we were back in May at $4.29, $4.30 SUI. But I can see this SUI cryptocurrency getting right up to like 480, that 1272. I think that should be your next upside target if you're swing trading or day trading SUI. $4.85 should be your upside target for now, if $4.30 isn't where you're trying to take profit. Okay. And I think SUI is going to be just fine, because they don't allow it to go down. When we went down, we quickly got bought up on SUI. So yeah, if SUI does come down, I would like to see it come down to the $3.50 or $3.60 level, this golden pocket, and then maybe I can buy back in again on the SUI that I sold on Friday. But I might have to buy back in again now, because they won't let this thing go down. All right. Let's go ahead and take a look at my buddy Joe. We'll look at his YouTube channel here. So guys, if you enjoyed my my analysis here, and you see me maybe not show up one of these days here because I'm busy with my rental car business, then you might want to check out Joe's channel here, Trade Intuition. He's got about a couple of thousand subscribers here on YouTube. And let me just click on that channel here. He's always going live every day in the afternoons, Monday through Friday, between 12 to 2 p.m. is what I've noticed, and he'll go live on Sundays at 4 p.m. So you can probably catch him. He'll probably go live after I'm done, around 4 p.m. Eastern time here. Is that correct, Joe? Are you going live later on today? Because that's what I have for your schedule here. But yeah, he does videos here about how to trade, how to become a better trader, and how to avoid the fake gurus out there that pretend like they know what they're talking about but really don't. Okay. And he's got some YouTube shorts. He does it all on his channel here. Go ahead and check him out. Do me a favor and come on here and subscribe to Trade Intuition's channel here. But yeah, Joe just said in the chat that he's going live at 4 p.m. So guys, you gotta go check him out. All right. But yeah, for my TikTok guys, he's also on TikTok, and I think he's also trying to build up his TikTok. Let me let's just check out my TikTok here real quick. If you guys haven't followed me, don't forget to follow me. I'm trying to build up my following here on the TikTok. See if I can get up to like 10,000 followers here. Right now I got 5,000. But yeah, I think Joe, let's see. He has a couple of channels here. And I think you want the one where he's in black, I believe. Let me see. Let me click that one. I think that's the right one. But yeah, he's also on TikTok. I think Joe's got to be a little bit more active on TikTok, and you'll get more followers if you do so. But yeah, you can follow him on TikTok as well. All right. Okay. So we talked about SUI, we talked about Nair Protocol. I got another request here for TIA. And then what else do I got? I know I got a few more requests. I got XYO, probably gonna have to talk about that one. And then Grass, Shiba Inu. Oh my god, you guys are keep me busy. Jeez. I know we're in altcoin season because everybody wants to talk about altcoins now. Alright. So that's SUI. We'll take a look at the TIA. I'm gonna see if I can try to fast track the analysis. But we're looking at the Celestia now. TIA, currently up 11% today. Wow. Trading at $2.22. And we have some moving averages that are showing up on the chart. Looks like this 50-day moving average could act as resistance at $2.22. So I would probably expect Celestia to kind of like chill out for a little bit and turn this 50-day moving average from resistance into support. After we just had a pretty good week here on Celestia, I would expect some consolidation, but who knows? You know, if this really is the altcoin season we've been all waiting for, maybe this thing just continues going up to higher prices without doing any consolidation here. But right now the RSI is at 68, so this thing could continue going up, and it's not even overbought yet. So there might be some room for us to go to higher prices here. If that's the case, then I'm expecting the next resistance level to be at $2.58, where we have the 100-day moving average sitting at that area, and then we also have the 200-day moving average at $2.96. I would expect that to be some resistance levels here. Oh, look, I have some previous chart work here. All right. But yeah, I think ultimately, oh no, yeah, I think ultimately the 200-day moving average at $2.96, $2.97 is confluent with this candlewick top here at like 306. I think anywhere between 296 and 306 we'll probably get some resistance at this level, because those were some of the highs that we seen Celestia at back in May of 2025, which was what, only a couple months ago, right? But I think that should be your take profit target for now, $3. And it's also a psychological target. You know, $3 should be a target for a lot of people out there, just because it's an easy number to remember, right? But yeah, Celestia has seen better days here, and you would think it could at least go up to higher prices here, right? After it already had a pretty bad, you know, a bad 2025 and bad few months here. If I turn on the VRVP, let's see what the VRVP has to say about Celestia. And the VRVP is saying that point of control, this blue line, is at $3.13. So that's going to be an area where a lot of people are going to click the sell button on you, because I think a lot of people are going to be just break even if we get up to $3. I also have another level here marked on the chart, $4.48. $4.48 is a level that Celestia kept getting bounces off of. It kept getting support at that level, but that could actually end up being a resistance level now that we're below it. I think $4.48 is going to be a level where people who bought and thought that they were buying the bottom of it back in like November of 2024 and September of 2024, they might want to get out of it at break even when we get back up to $4.48. So be careful with that level, okay, going forward. And then just once we get past $4.48, then this thing has some room to breathe, and we might shoot up to higher prices because the volume is dropping on the VRVP, and we get the value area high sitting at $7.46. That could be another take profit target later on in the future, and you're basically almost like tripling your money from where it's at right now if it can get back up to that value area high, this white line right here. Okay, so those are your take profit targets on Celestia if we can even get back up to those levels again. But yeah, I'm really expecting in the near future here $4.48. That's a level that it doesn't really show up on the VRVP, but you can see it on the chart because that's where we've gotten some bounces and some support back in 2024 and that's going to probably be a resistance level as we try to climb back up to that price again. All right, so that's Celestia. And guys, I see another YouTuber has joined me in the chat here. I see Porky Flounder 65 saying how you doing, Joe? I see you. All right, and then Porky putting in some requests here. Okay. Two coins that have been popping up in your mind lately are GMT and ZIL. You want me to pull up those charts and see what they're looking like? All right. So, Porky, I have a lot of people that are asking me about all kinds of altcoins today, and I'm gonna have to put you towards the back of the line for now. But I appreciate that request. I got you. GMT and ZIL. We'll look at that. But right now, I gotta look at Shiba Inu, I gotta look at Grass, I gotta look at XYO, and they just keep putting in these requests, and I got a request for Bonk and all this. But yeah, I could definitely tell that people are excited about altcoins right now because there's so many requests right now for all kinds of altcoins. But I'll get to that when I get a chance. But why don't I give you a shout out, okay? Because you always give me those awesome shout outs. We just talked about Joe. And guys, another great YouTuber that does great analysis on crypto here is Porky Flounder 65. Let me go ahead and click on his channel. He's got about 1,500 subscribers here. He also does great TA on the charts. He's going live. He usually goes live at nighttime. For me, it's like 10 o'clock East Coast time is when he shows up, but that's because he's over here in California, and it's like, I think 8 o'clock, you know, his time when he goes live in California. But yeah, if you guys want to take a look at another great YouTuber who's also pumping out the content on all these cryptocurrencies, then you should check out Porky Flounder 65. He's also on TikTok as well. Let me see if I can pull him up on TikTok. We looked at Trade Intuition, but let's go ahead and see if we can find Porky here. And Porky's also trying to build up his TikTok following. And yeah, let's see if we can get him. He's putting out his content on there, and yeah, give him a follow if you can. He does TA on cryptocurrencies and stocks as well. Check him out. But let's get back into the TA here. You guys keep me busy. I think this is gonna probably end up being like a 2-hour live stream here. G Money, you asked about Ethereum. We talked about Ethereum earlier, but I don't think we did a deep dive on it. But we'll eventually get to Ethereum in there. Jeez, so many cryptocurrencies. You guys keep me really busy here. I should have brought a pen and paper. I'm currently live streaming at a different place than I normally do, and I didn't bring my my whiteboard with the marker. So yeah. All right. So we just looked at TIA. Did I do a downside target? I don't think I really talked about the downside here. Downside here is that, yeah, TIA, if it loses its momentum, we could come back down to this point of control here at $1.59, this high volume node here. But I think this is off to the races here for a lot of these altcoins as they make their... We're getting like an altcoin recovery, and then maybe we'll get an altcoin season as the weeks go by here. But this is part of the recovery process for TIA. And I don't know if we're going to come back down again, but $1.59, $1.60 could be where you catch a break if it does come down. All right, moving on to some of these other coins here. I think I want to look at what's it, XYO? Yeah, XYO is the next one. XYO USD on Coinbase. So we're currently looking at XYO trading at almost 0.011 pennies here, almost 0.012. And this thing is a very interesting chart here. Okay. So we clearly had a downtrend and then we shot up. And now we're catching some bids here. Let me get rid of some of this previous chart work here. I think going forward, XYO is probably gonna, if it's gonna respect the TA, it's probably gonna get rejected by this 200-day moving average sitting at 0.0128 pennies. We'll just say 1283. 1283 could be a area where people want to click the sell button on you that are using the moving averages. You could strategically game plan this. It looks like you are respecting this other moving average at 100-day moving average and the 50-day moving average sitting at about 0.011 pennies here. You probably put your stop loss right at 1 penny actually. All right, maybe a little bit below, but or even higher at like 0.0107 pennies maybe. Put your stop loss, and then you know if this thing is going to continue being bullish here, then it shouldn't hit your stop loss, right? But going forward, like where could this thing go if we I mean, if you want to count this, geez, where would I want to do the Fibonacci on this? I think I'm going to start from here, going down to the lows here. And with this Fibonacci, we do have a golden pocket sitting at 0.0129 pennies. So I think once we get past this 200-day moving average, we'll probably trade sideways around the golden pocket here until we can get some more momentum to higher prices. And then you got the 786 at 0.014 pennies, probably with you might get some more sell side action going on. But yeah, if this thing continues to go higher prices, then yeah, we got the 0.015 penny, and then we got the 1272 at 0.017 pennies here. I think those are some levels for you to be looking for. Write down those levels here for your upside targets on XYO. I like the fact that you're getting a lot of support here off the moving averages as of now. And yeah, I think you just put your stop loss at 1.0107 pennies. I think it'll be fine. I don't know if I want to do any more analysis than that. Seems pretty straightforward. Let me just look at the oscillators real quick. You're getting close to overbought on XYO at like 68 on the RSI. This is the number that I'm looking at here. So yeah, I'm anticipating probably in the next week, next few days here, XYO will probably get up to this 200-day moving average and then just trade sideways from there before it does this next leg up. All right, so that's XYO. Will McCarroll says, what should we buy today? You know, Will, that's a very interesting question here. Everybody feels as though we don't know what to buy because everything has done a run up already. But if I see something that's depressed, then maybe that might be a good thing to buy. You know, when I'm having a hard time figuring out what to buy because everything has run up, I go over here to coinmarketcap.com and I try to look at the coins that actually had a bad week here. In this case, I click on the 7-day percentage here and looks like pump.fun had a bad week. I'm not sure why, but that might be a good place to start if you're looking for a discount, right? Let's go ahead and take a look at pump real quick as like a bonus coin. I know nobody requested it, but let's find out why this thing actually went down. Pump.fun. Oh wow, okay. So it looks like it just recently got listed on Kraken. Is there a coin, is there an exchange where it's been on there a little bit longer than that? OKX maybe? No. Pump? I mean, Binance maybe? Yeah, so it looks like Pump.fun actually got recently listed on a lot of these exchanges here. And that's the reason why it took a hit. But maybe this could be the bottom here for Pump.fun. So maybe you might want to look at Pump. Currently trading at 0.0045 pennies. It's actually up 10% today. but could that have been the bottom there? You could strategically put a stop loss at 0.0037 pennies, and if it comes down and stops you out, then you know, maybe you're still in a downtrend on pump. But this is something that you might want to do your research, maybe throw your hat in the ring, and then try to figure out, you know, why it did come down. I think it came down because it just got listed on the exchanges and people are taking profit right now. And if that's the case, then that's just normal price action, and you might be buying the dip on this one. But yeah, other coins that went down, Monero. If you're able to buy Monero, that one's been down 3.5% this week. And then Hyperliquid also had a pretty bad week. Maybe Hyperliquid might be another one that you might want to look into as well. And I just go on to coinmarketcap.com. It's a good website. And you know, I click here to find out which coins had a bad week, and then that might be a coin that you might want to do some research on and possibly buy, because if it had a bad week this week, maybe it's gonna have a better week next week. Okay, that's the logic behind that. All right, moving on to some other cryptos here. We're gonna take a look at Grass, and then we'll look at the Shiba Inu. Yeah, Porky, I saw you the other day. You were using your pen and paper, and I use a whiteboard because, you know, I could just erase it and then start all over again for the next day on the next live stream. All right, so we're gonna look at Grass. Grass on Kraken. Okay. So we're now looking at Grass. Currently trading at $1.12, up 5.9%. Ooh, this one looks interesting. Maybe this could be a buying opportunity here. This one has already lost quite a bit here back in May and June, and it looks like you're getting some sideways consolidation here. I don't know about this little sell side wick here, this little scam wick to the downside. We had this thing dropped down to like 90 cents on Friday. Let me look at the oscillators. See what the oscillators are showing. I want to see if the RSI is showing any bullish divergence here. Okay, so possible bullish divergence, right? You got higher lows here on the RSI, and obviously you have lower lows here on the price. This could be a bullish divergence. This could signify that the bulls are starting to show up and starting to place their buy orders in at this price here for Grass. I think Grass might be worth taking a look at and trying to buy something on the cheap here. I don't know what Grass does and what kind of world problem it's trying to solve. I don't think it's a meme coin. I would have to do more research, and if I needed to do research on a coin, I would go to coinmarketcap.com, right? And I would type in Grass. Click on it. Gives you the information, the stats. It's a $272 million market cap coin. Okay, circulating supply, 243 million Grass tokens out there. Looks like there's a little bit more than that though. It's 1 billion, so there might be a unlock. There's some coins might be starting to be unlocked here, but if I click on the about section, it will tell me what Grass is trying to do here. And it says that Grass is building the first open internet scale web crawl. The network is powered by over 3 million users who are running nodes to scrape petabytes of data for AI models. Only 2 companies in the world are capable of crawling the entire web, and this capability has been the backbone of their multi-trillion-dollar business. Grass aims to replace them by creating the first ever known knowledge graph of the entire internet. So I guess they're trying to compete against like Google and maybe Yahoo for like an internet search engine that is using AI. So I would have to do some. I have to, you know, try to learn some more about this coin, and this is where you would go. But I think there's some unlocks that might cause the price to go down. I'm looking for the token unlocks. I don't really see token unlocks here, but I might have skipped over it. But yeah, let's see. Might be a coin worth getting into. Let's go back into the charts here. So yeah, if grass starts catching some bids, there could be some resistance here at the 50-day moving average sitting at $1.59. This thing could have, right, if it just gets back to the 50-day moving average, it could have a 40% move up on price here. And that would just put you back to like where this price was trading at back in May and April. I think the people that bought here in April, they're going to want to click the sell button just to break even. And you could click the sell button as well when this thing gets up to $1.59. That's probably my upside target. Downside target, just put your stop loss below this wick here at 90 cents. If you go down to 90 cents again, there might be something wrong with this crypto, especially if Bitcoin is making new all-time highs and these other altcoins are going up. There might be something wrong with grass here. But I would, you know, probably throw my hat in the ring on this coin. This is very interesting. I'm going to see if I can probably throw a leverage trade on this, 10x leverage, and see if I can ride this thing up to higher prices here. Very interesting, very interesting. All right. Oh wait, yeah, Shiba Inu is next. We'll take a look at Shiba Inu. So it looks like Shiba Inu is catching some bids here. We have pretty good week here. All green candles on the daily chart here, ever since Tuesday, this past Tuesday. Shiba Inu finally got above the 200-day moving average, so that's good to see. You know, in my opinion, when we get above the 200-day moving average, when you get above this red line, the 200-day moving average, you can actually be bullish again on that asset. You can have a bullish bias, and I think you know, Shiba Inu could see higher prices if it continues to stay above this 200-day moving average. 200-day moving average sitting at 1458. I would expect it probably to like trade sideways and start using this as support to show us that it's capable of using it as support. Let's look at the oscillator, the RSI. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, the RSI is at 77 right now on Shiba Inu. So that could mean that we're probably going to most likely go sideways. And that makes sense, because you could just use this 200-day moving average as support rather than resistance and then go up to higher prices. If it does go up to higher prices, we have the highs here back in May at like 1764. Could be your first take profit target if you're getting into this thing right now. Once you get past that level though, I think there's not going to be that much resistance. Let me get rid of the moving averages for now, and I'm going to look at the VRVP here. And the VRVP, right? There's green and red bars here. Wow. Okay. Shiba Inu might be one to put on your watch list and throw your hat in the ring here, because with the VRVP, and this is data going all the way back until like December of last year, okay? You are below the value area on Shiba Inu. Right now the value area low is at 1734, so we've already mentioned that. That could be an area where you might want to click the sell button, but to be honest with you, you might want to stick around for longer than that, because the point of control is above you. Oh no, I just messed up the chart here a little bit, but you got a high volume node here at 2,100, okay? Shiba Inu probably wants to go up to 2,100. Once you get past 1,700, there's a gap in the VRVP, and this thing probably is not going to get any resistance until we get to 2,000. And then after that, you got a drop in the VRVP here. Once you get past 2,200 on Shiba Inu, it might be a little bit of resistance at 2,400. Then there's a gap there, and then you have 2,700 could be the next resistance. But the value area high is sitting at 3,000. Shiba Inu looks like it could possibly double in price. It's probably gonna take a breather around 2100, but after it gets its breath back and wants to start running again and climbing up to higher prices, I'm expecting Shiba Inu to get up to like 3,000. 3,000 should be a level to look out for, and to be honest with you, it should be a level that you should consider clicking the sell button. Not financial advice, but if I doubled my money in an asset, then I'm probably going to click the sell button as well. Just saying. Okay? So I think Shiba Inu has the potential to double. And just zooming back in here, downside, right? If we did come down on Shiba Inu for whatever reason, let me look at the moving averages. You got the moving averages that could provide support at 1300. So you could use that as your stop loss. Maybe a little bit below that. You got the daily candle low here at like 1275. So maybe a stop loss at like 1250. And then you can just ride this puppy up to like 3,000. Alright. Alright, so yeah, that's the downside upside targets for Shiba Inu. I got a request after that for a link and Pengu. And I'm just taking them in as I can here, guys. And then I'll try to look at Porky's targets. I'm sorry, Porky's request here. Porky wanted to look at GMT and ZIL. If Porky's requesting those, I'm pretty sure they must look spectacular. They probably haven't done a run up yet. So I'm assuming that's the reason why Porky wants to look at those coins there. All right. But yeah, we're gonna do 2 more coins, and then I'm gonna look at the Porky's coins here. So we're gonna look at the Pengu and then Chainlink. But actually, Chainlink came in first. So let's look at Chainlink first, and then we'll look at Pengu. Porky, you enjoying my Boston, New York accent over here? I know you love my accent. I think I got like a mixture of both New York and Boston, because I grew up in Rhode Island, which is in between New York and Boston, so that's how I got my accent. Porky loves my accent. Alright. Chainlink currently trading at $19.70 here. Up 7% today. Having a bull run. Pretty good week here. You got above the 200-day moving average, so you are making very good progress in that direction. I'm going to assume that after a nice run up in price here, that the oscillators, the RSI is probably overbought on Chainlink, and it is. If I look at the RSI on Chainlink, you got an RSI of like 82 right now. Clearly you're overbought. But the thing about being overbought is you can stay overbought. Like, this thing actually became overbought last week on Tuesday. And then it was overbought the next day, and then it was overbought the next day, and here we are on Sunday, and we're still overbought, and even more overbought than we were. So at some point this thing will chill out and possibly go sideways at best, and then maybe come back down. If it does come down, I would expect it maybe to probably come down and retest the 200-day moving average at $16.20. Maybe retest this candlewick high here in May, where we saw it at like $17.97. But I just think, you know, altcoins are doing what altcoins do best. They go up and they shoot up to higher prices, and they melt your faces, and you get a face melting rally, which is what we're getting right now. And then of course you get the drops as well. But let's see, let's pull up the VRVP here real quick, see where Chainlink could possibly go and get some resistance. Where's this thing gonna stop? Alright, so we're kind of at the value area high already on Chainlink at $19.98 is where we might get rejected. We might be close to stopping the rally here on Chainlink. But if Chainlink can push past this $19.90 area, there's a drop in the VRVP. Maybe there might be some resistance at 22 bucks. There's more resistance at 23.70 and some more resistance at 24.57. And those are levels where people were buying Chainlink back here in like January. So I'm expecting that once we get back to like $24 here on Chainlink, the people that bought Chainlink in January of this year and want to break even, they're going to want to click the sell button and break even. So don't be surprised if you get some resistance at $24 for Chainlink. But this is good to see. You know, Chainlink is actually trying to recover. We're getting an altcoin recovery, in my opinion, which could lead to an altcoin season. But yeah, downside target on Chainlink, you could come back down to that 200-day moving average all over again at $16. Is where you could scoop up some cheaper Chainlink. And that could just be a higher low, and then we end up going to higher prices after that, making a higher high in the foreseeable future. Alright, so that's Chainlink. We'll take a look at Pengu. Check out Pengu. Pudgy penguins. Oh wow, yeah. So I have obviously done previous chart work on here because Pudgy Penguin has been the talk of the town for like the past month or two now. Definitely had a good month in the month of July. We started catching those bids here on June, right after the crisis in the Middle East between Iran and Israel. And I'm gonna have to probably readjust my Fibonacci analysis here. But Pudgy Penguins, at least on Coinbase, hasn't really been trading that long. We started trading on Pudgy Penguins in February of 2025, so I don't really have any moving averages besides maybe the 21-day moving average here. And the 21 EMA exponential moving average is sitting at 2 cents, 0.022 cents. If Pudgy Penguins loses its momentum and decides to drop down just as fast as it went up, we could see Pudgy Penguins get some support off the 21 EMA at 0.022 pennies. Okay, this is a line that it usually follows and stays close to, but because we're so far away from it, it does lead me to believe that there could be a nasty pullback in Pudgy Penguins at any moment. We got, you know, the only way we can avoid a pullback is if we actually go sideways, and then that gives this 21 EMA a chance to catch up to where the price is at. Right now, Pudgy Penguins, as you can see, is trading at 3 cents. But the 21 EMA is at 2 cents. So if we could just stay at these prices and not go down, then that will give this 21 EMA a chance to catch up and provide some support in the near future here. But now I have to do an adjustment here on my Fibonacci, because what we came up to like 3.5 cents on Pudgy Penguins back on Wednesday of this past week. Okay, and we started off at levels at like 0.03 pennies. Do I really want to use that? I think I'll adjust that a little bit here. We'll adjust it to like this level right here. Yeah, okay. So now it looks like, yeah, now it looks like we're at the 786 retracement, which is, you know, if that's as far of a pullback as we're gonna get, that just means that Pudgy Penguin is extremely bullish here, and we might see this thing go back up to 3.5 cents all over again. Let's take a look at the oscillators now. Oscillators are showing that the RSI is at 75, so we're still overbought on Pudgy Penguins. And looking at my market cipher B, we did get a red dot here, a sell dot on Thursday, saying that you should have been selling your Pudgy Penguins this past Thursday. But the beautiful part about a red dot is that the next dot is going to be a green dot. So when you see a green dot show up on the daily chart here, that might be a good time to start buying Pudgy Penguins all over again. But yeah, let's see. This thing says sell on Thursday. Where's Thursday? Yeah, Thursday was like right here. So we're kind of at the same price that we're on Thursday. So I don't know. Maybe this thing is just probably indicating that there's going to be consolidation for now. But I wouldn't get excited about buying Pudgy Penguins until I see that green dot show up on the market cipher B indicator here. And we're also still overbought, so I think Pudgy Penguins is probably going to go sideways and stay at 3 cents for now. I'd be surprised and pleasantly surprised if it can get back up to 3.5 cents or go higher. But if it does decide to go higher, then we do have the 1618 at 0.047 pennies. That could be your next upside target for Pudgy Penguins. And I don't know why I don't have the 127 in here. Let me go ahead and adjust that. I should have a 127 in there. Let me go ahead and put that in there. Alright, so yeah, now we got the 127 saying that, yeah. Pudgy Penguins could get up to like 4 pennies in the near future. I'm not sure when, but 4 pennies would be a level to look out for. It's also a psychological target. And then 0.047 pennies is showing up here as a 1618. That could be your next upside target on Pudgy Penguins. Alright. Okay, so now I'm interested in seeing what Porky has here for us. And we'll take a look at some of these coins that Porky just requested. And then we'll take a look at Ethereum after that. Because I know we have that as a request. And Ethereum has been doing pretty well. And I don't think we've done a deep dive on it yet. But yeah, let's look at where's that request here from Porky? GMT and ZIL. GMT, I'm assuming that's a cryptocurrency here. And we have GMT currently trading at 0.056 pennies, up 7%. Porky, I thought you were going to give me a coin that hasn't done a run up yet. This thing has already done a run up these past couple of weeks here. I thought you were going to show me something that's like kind of like right over here. Hasn't caught the bid yet, but could possibly catch some bids. This thing has already done a little run already. I'm a little bit slightly disappointed, Porky, that you didn't give me a coin here that hasn't done a run up yet. But let's see. As I zoom out, let's see why Porky might be a little bit excited here. I think I kind of see it, but oh my god, Porky, oh my god. GMT? This thing has done nothing but go down and to the right. So down and to the right, that's not how you make money. That's not how you make money. Let me get rid of the moving averages here. Let's see if I can plot a trend line here. Actually, this thing started trading back in 2022 and has done nothing besides go down and to the right. Are you sure you want to be in this coin, Porky? I don't know. Let's see. I was going to draw a trend line, but if it's not already obvious, right? Maybe that's why you get a little bit excited, but if it's not already obvious, this thing has done nothing besides going down and disappointing their investors and traders here. But using this trend line here, this possible downtrend that you're in, you have now gone sideways. And you could be breaking out of this downtrend. And as I start to zoom back in again, yeah, we had a low here on April 7th at like 3.5 cents. Then, of course, on June 22nd, when the United States dropped bombs on Iran, we came down to 3.037 pennies. So that could possibly be a double bottom. And that might mean that we're done going down, and we might have to go back up. This can confirm that this is actual bottom here, with this double bottom right here. And then, you know, you want to eventually start making higher highs and higher lows here. You're starting to make higher lows now, but the higher highs, we have to get past I would say 6.5 cents here, and then after that we got to get past 7 pennies, 0.071 pennies to be exact. Start making higher highs, and then I say, all right, yeah, we're in an uptrend now, and we're no longer in the downtrend. Let me go ahead and turn the moving averages down, see what the resistance might be. Yeah, it looks like 6.5 pennies. 6.5 pennies is where the 200-day moving average is sitting at, so I would expect that to be a resistance level for now. That should be your first take profit if you're going to get into this thing right now. In my opinion, that's where I would be taking profit. And I'll probably be taking profit again once it gets to like 7 pennies here. Because somebody who bought here might be like, oh my god, I need to get out of this thing and break even, but I'm not going to sell until I break even. 7 pennies is where they bought it at, so they'll probably click sell on you. Yeah, Porky, in my opinion, I think the best coin I looked at so far that hasn't had a run up yet is Grass. That might be a better coin to throw your hat in the ring on, in my opinion. And B4 is saying that Grass is trying to compete against Graph. I believe that's GRT. That's interesting. And then B4 wants me to look at Ordi. Okay, we'll take a look at Ordi. Alright. We're going to look at Ethereum after this, but then we'll take a look at Ordi. Actually, no, we got to look at the ZIL, and then we'll look at Ethereum, and then we'll look at Ordi. Alright? Okay. But yeah, that's it. That's your upside target for GMT, in my opinion, is that 200-day moving average at 6.5 cents. Downside target, I mean, you can put your stop loss at like 4 pennies here. And if this thing loses 4 pennies, then I probably don't want to be in it. Something's wrong with it. Probably gonna still go down on you, and not in a good way. All right. Let's look at ZIL. Ziliqua. Is that how you say it? Alright. So we're looking at the ZIL, currently trading at 0.012 pennies. Alright, yeah, this one looks like it could be possibly bottoming out. I don't know what the hell this is all about, this crazy ass price action. Alrighty, okay. So this one looks a little bit more juicier than GMT in my opinion. Mainly because it hasn't had a rally like some of these other coins that we've seen the past couple of weeks here. If it does get a rally going on here, it might get rejected by that 200-day moving average sitting at 1.5 pennies here. And if you can get up to 1.5 pennies, you'll be getting about this previous high here, sitting at about 1.5 pennies roughly. Well, yeah, 1.5 pennies is probably your target. If you're day trading this, like I know Porky likes to day trade, then I would put your price target, your first take profit, at 1.5 pennies. And if you were to get in now, how much of a percentage gain is that? That's about an 18% percentage gain right there on ZIL. Okay. And then where would you put the stop loss? Right? Where would you put the stop loss? Probably put the stop loss right below the 50-day moving average if I could. 50-day moving average is sitting at 0.011 pennies. So just put your stop loss right there at 0.011 pennies. If you lose your momentum, you come down there, you get stopped out. But this thing could get a bounce off the 50-day moving average and then continue going up to higher prices after that. But if you're willing to bet on the uptrend that you're kind of in right now, you got a little bit of an uptrend right here. Okay? Then you're basically betting that we're not going to go down, that we're not going to lose this uptrend, and that you're basically trying to play this thing up to like 1.5 pennies, sell there or close to that level, And as you're in the trade, you just walk your stop loss as you're going up to higher prices here. Okay, but that all depends on if you are going to go to higher prices. If you lose this downtrend, you could come down to that 50-day moving average and then you get stopped out. Binance US, worst exchange? Yeah, I don't know. That probably is the worst exchange. Let me see if there's something else that's better than Binance here. If I can pull up Kraken maybe? Oh, here we go. We got it on regular Binance. Here we go. Alright, yeah, that's a little bit better. But yeah, oh, so in this exchange, you're already at the 200-day moving average at 0.013 pennies. So that kind of changes things up a little bit. Are you overbought already? Oh no. Okay. Yep. You're overbought on this asset right now. So, this one already had a rally this week. So, still not as good as Grass, in my opinion. Grass seems to be the best coin that I looked at so far that hasn't had a run up yet. Okay. I think you can still do the same thing. You put your stop loss right below the 50-day moving average at 0.011 pennies, and I think you can still try to push this thing up to 0.015 pennies, or a penny and a half. So I think my analysis still holds true. It's just that the 200-day moving average is already probably going to provide resistance, and I think it might actually just go sideways from where you are right now on this asset. Alright, now we'll look at Ethereum, and then we'll take a look at Ordi. Bitstamp, okay. Alright, so Ethereum, the second largest market cap cryptocurrency out in the world, doing more damage to the Bitcoin dominance because now Ethereum is up 5% today, up 183 bucks, and I'm pretty sure that's beating Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin's only up 0.4%, so Bitcoin not getting the love, but Ethereum is, and that's gonna probably help out the Ethereum BTC pair. You guys use that chart to trade. You can figure out whether you're making money on your asset compared to Bitcoin. Ethereum, like, can we get a pullback? Are we allowed to do pullbacks anymore? Because look at this. Ethereum has, the last red day was Saturday, July 12th. And then after that, like since last Sunday, this whole week has been green, 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 green for Ethereum. So congratulations to the Ethereum investors. You guys are making money this week. But now that Ethereum is at this high of a level, the 21 EMA is below us at 29.20. If Ethereum does a pullback, it could be a very nasty pullback down to the 21 EMA, sitting at 2,900. Now, I think, you know, over time, it will probably, this 21 EMA will try to catch up. If we do pull back, it'll probably be somewhere near like 3,000, where we were trading sideways before July 13th. This could be a support area for Ethereum if it does come down. Let's go ahead and take a look at the oscillators, see what the oscillators are showing on Ethereum. Ethereum is overbought at 85 on the RSI. I'm sorry, 87 on the RSI. You have an overbought Ethereum. Ethereum hasn't been overbought like this since May of this year, right? And if I go back to May, you saw what happened when we were overbought in May, right? We got rejected off the 200-day moving average, and we just traded sideways. And people were wondering if Ethereum was being manipulated, but probably it was just being sold off because people that bought Ethereum at like $1,300 here in April, right? They were able to start selling off their Ethereum for a profit at $2,500, $2,600. They basically doubled their money almost. So those people had to offload their positions for a profit. And then of course we had a little bit of a scare here on June 22nd with America and Iran. And now we're cashing those bids here on Ethereum, and geez, you know, Ethereum, I've already talked about this early in the live stream, but Ethereum has not been this high since December of last year. Look at this, right? Like here in January 6th, we saw Ethereum at 37.44, but we're above that price. We haven't seen Ethereum like this high since December 18th of last year. So I think now that we're coming up to these levels that we're at back here in December, the people that bought here in December thinking that Ethereum was going to go to like 5 or 10 grand or whatever, if they're sick of Ethereum and they just want to break even, they're probably going to click the sell button once we get up to like 3,800, 3,900 here. Okay? Which we're really close to doing right now. So I think Ethereum is going to possibly go sideways at best. Maybe get a pullback here. I would be pleasantly surprised. I know for sure if Ethereum goes to $4,000, that's the psychological target. There's going to be some people hitting the sell button on us. Let me see what Porky had to say. Nice, just some coins I made the dumb money last bull run from. Always nice to go back to see how they did. Oh, how they died. Yeah, I do look at some cryptos that I was in, you know, in the previous cycles to see how they bet or how they performed, and yeah, some of them have died. Like Sia coin was a coin that I was in back in like 2017. I remember when it went from like a penny to like 10 pennies, and that was crazy. Could have 10x your money on that one. And now it's like below a penny, and it's actually like trading at like 0.003 pennies or something like that. But yeah, Sia coin died. But that one had a use case. That one competes against like Filecoin and some other coins that do like decentralized storage. And Joe thinks it's funny when I say not in a good way. Going down on you, but not in a good way. All right. We'll take a look at Ordi now. Appreciate that request. And I'm pretty sure I'm behind on a lot of these other requests here. Somebody wants me to look at banana. Okay. And what else? What else? Oh, XRP. Everybody keeps. All right. You know what? I'll look at XRP right now. How about that? Because I know XRP is a crowd favorite, and I got so many people saying XRP right now, Damien. Tell us about XRP. All right, I'll tell you guys about XRP. You know, guys, I have a YouTube short and I have a TikTok video about XRP, and we also talked about XRP yesterday on the live stream here. So yeah, we'll look at XRP now, and then we'll look at Ordi and these other coins here. But jeez, XRP, huh? All right. Oh, I almost forgot to do Bonk too. I gotta do Bonk and do that. Oh. So many coins here. Alright, let's look at XRP for the bazillionth time. Is XRP making the highs for the year? You guys keep demanding it. I want to see it do some more amazing stuff here. Right now, XRP is currently trading at $3.50, up 2.2% today. And we've seen XRP get as high as 366 on Friday. And XRP's in a bull run, an uptrend rally here, and I'm pretty sure the oscillators are overheated, just like Ethereum. Yep. Okay. So now XRP's RSI is at 84. The RSI can stay overbought. You know, anytime you're above 70, you're overbought. But like we first got overbought on XRP on Friday, July 11th. We've been overbought for about a week now. And we're still overbought, and we're probably going to stay overbought. So I don't think XRP Army is just going to let this thing go down, okay? But if XRP Army fails to defend these prices here, then yeah, we could probably come down to the 21 EMA sitting at $2.67. XRP XRP, I really don't have much data to be going off of now on XRP, because you are getting close to price discovery mode on XRP. I think the highest price for XRP was like $3.80. I got Binance here. Let's see. Let's scroll back. Has XRP ever been this high before? Back here in 2018, it got as high as $3.35 on Binance Exchange. I'm pretty sure there's an exchange that had it for like $3.80, but yeah, XRP. You could say it's in price discovery mode right now, so we don't really know where XRP is gonna go. The only thing I can do right now is do a Fibonacci extension and try to give you some price targets on that. If I measure from, like, you know, where we got to the low here at $1.90 and to the high here at 366, we have a 1272 Fibonacci that says $4.14 is the next upside target on XRP. Then the 1618 is at $4.75, and then we have a 2618 at 650. I think this seems to be a juicy target, where a lot of people are going to double their money on XRP if it gets up to that 650 target. And one last target, you could have an XRP that could get you up to like $8.24. That's the 3618. I would say that would happen later on in 2025. Maybe that might be the top of the bull run for crypto. But yeah, $8 is a possibility here for XRP. But yeah. If XRP decides to come down, you would think it should at least come down to this golden pocket level, sitting at $3 and $3.06, the 0.618 and the 0.65 retracement. I think that's also confluent with that being a psychological target of $3. I think it's going to be hard for us to see XRP go below $3, because XRP Army is just going to tell their friends and their family members to buy XRP at $3. They're going to say you missed out on buying XRP at $2, but now you can get in at $3, and yeah. The show goes on, right? The show goes on for XRP. But yeah, I don't think XRP is going to go down below $3 and stay below $3, because you do have a 618 at that level. And then you also got XRP Army going to vigorously defend it so it doesn't go below $3. Alright. We got to look at Bonk. And then we got to look at VET. And then I see Lisa saying that we need to fire Jerome Powell. Oh, and XTZ. We got to look at XTZ. Yep. I got you, bro. So we'll look at XTZ first, then Bonk, and then VET. I think XTZ is Tezos, right? Which had a pretty good week, from what I recall. Yep, there it is. Big, giant green candle on the daily chart. So XTZ currently trading at $1.12, up 9.6% today. Sure feels like an altcoin season to me, or the beginning of one maybe. You are clearly above the 200-day moving average. 200-day moving average is sitting at 74 cents, so that's good to see. You recaptured the 200-day moving average, and you did it by making a big statement. Okay, but I'm pretty sure that this thing is overbought now. Yeah, for sure. On the RSI, you have an RSI of 93. I probably wouldn't be touching this asset. You're really pushing your luck if you think this thing's gonna go higher, but I mean, it is a crypto, so it could go higher. But you already did topped out today at $1.21. So if I make that the high water mark on the Fibonacci here, if this thing is still bullish and not going to do much of a pullback, then you got the 786 saying that $1.07 is where this thing could come down to before it bounces off and goes to higher prices again. But most likely, if this thing is going to get a normal pullback, then it should come down to 0.618 at 95 cents. And if the pullback is a little bit stronger, you might get a 0.5 retracement at 86 cents. I think these are the levels you should be looking for if you're trying to buy some more XTZ, or if you're trying to get your first position in it. See if you can get a higher low here around 86 cents to like 97 cents. But if Tezos XTZ wants to continue being bullish and go up to higher prices here, then you got a 1272 at $1.41. That could be your first take profit. And then you got the 1618 at $1.66. That's your second take profit. And then maybe later on this year, you might see a $2.36 XTZ at maybe later on in 2025 here, and you'll be doubling your money, and you should be happy. You should be also clicking the sell button, in my opinion. But yeah, that's XTZ. Let's see, we were at like $1.84, $1.90 back in December of 2024 here on XTZ. So I think that is possible. You could see a $2 XTZ later on in 2025. And you just got your first impulse move right now. And you also got a lot of volume here too. Very interesting, very interesting. Alright, so that's XTZ. Let's take a look at the bonk, and then we'll look at VET. Guys, don't forget to hit that like button, and for my my TikTok guys, go ahead and double tap that screen of yours so you can show the like and appreciation for my technical analysis here. We got bonk currently trading at 3,370, up 1.32% today, and this is nice. Yeah, bonk had a a run up, obviously, this past week. It was kind of like the talk of the town on Wednesday when we saw bonk up like 29% in one day. But you got the pullback. You got a little bit of a pullback here on bonk. And I bet you this is like a 786 retracement here. If I pull up that Fibonacci from where we topped out here down to the beginning of this impulse move here. Ooh, we actually came a little bit lower than the 786 retracement. You got the 618 saying bonk could come down to 3,030, and we came down to 3,159. Okay, so we actually came down to the 0.65 retracement roughly, and you got the bounce off the golden pocket, and now you're trying to push this thing back up to the 786 at 3,488. Recapture this level, and then you can try to make your way back up to 4,000 all over again on bonk. And yeah, if bonk decides to go to higher prices, we got the 1272 at 4,810, and then we got the 1618 at 5,750. And I think that 1618 should be confluent with where bonk was trading at back in November. Yeah, we got up to like 6,000 on bonk in November of 2024. Right around my birthday. Yes, I am a November baby. Yeah, so I think bonk has a possibility of doubling from where it is right now later on in 2025, because we've already seen it do that in 2024, and then also we have the 1618 at 5,752. So hopefully this gives you guys some ideas like what bonk could possibly do here. It is a meme coin. I would expect it to at least double from where it is right now later on in 2025 here. But you might get a shallow pullback back down to 3,000 all over again. And if it does, I would start loading up on bonk. And if it goes below 3,000, that might even be a better deal here. And right now, I kind of see bonk is already in like an uptrend right now if I measure the lows here. Don't lose this uptrend and keep doing what you're doing and you'll be fine. But if you lose this uptrend, then maybe bonk, you might want to consider getting out of bonk if it loses this uptrend. But yeah, bonk doing all right in my opinion. Let's look at VET now. VET. VET. Oh, V-Chain. Yeah, that's right. V-Chain. V-Chain doing things. I remember Mitch Ray, he's another popular YouTuber. He had that as like one of his sound bites. And every time I hear V-Chain, I always say V-Chain doing things because he's always pushing that button, that sound bite. V-Chain is currently at 0.028 pennies, up 4% today. Respecting the TA, getting rejected off a 200-day moving average. So you know, like these 200-day moving averages, they are a thing here because look, you're getting rejected. You get above it, only then to go below it again. And then here we are. We almost got above it again here on Sunday, and now we're currently below it. So this 200-day moving average is going to act as resistance until it no longer is acting as resistance, and maybe possibly we can start using it as support for V-Chain. But V-Chain had a pretty good week, right? You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 green candles in a row. And I'm assuming it's probably overbought on the RSI. And it is. RSI is at 75.93. But that could mean that, you know, it could stay overbought and continue going up to higher prices tomorrow and the day after that. Looking at the market cipher B, you do have a green buy dot here on July 9th, which was like a couple of weeks ago. And you're just waiting for the red dot. I'm expecting that red dot to happen sooner rather than later because you're close to these two red bars here. Usually when you get into this territory, you're expecting to at least get a sell-off at some point, and I'm expecting a red dot to show up any time here, maybe later on today or tomorrow. But yeah, after the green dot comes a red dot, and when you see that red dot, that probably means it's time to take profit on your V-Chain if you haven't done so already. But yeah, V-Chain looking good. Probably gonna get rejected off the 200-day moving average again. And I'm trying to see where else it could get rejected off of. We do have a candlewick high here back in May at like 0.033 pennies. So that might be another take profit target at that level. And then I start to zoom out here some more. I think once you get past 0.33 pennies, next level to look out for is going to probably be like right here at 4 pennies. I would consider probably selling once you get to 4 pennies on V-Chain here. But, you know, got to give you the downside. You know, if V-Chain does decide to get rejected and come down here, we could come down to this 50-day, 100-day moving average sitting at about 2.5 cents is where you could scoop up some cheaper V-Chain. So be on the lookout for that. If you're able to scoop up some cheaper V-Chain, you could get it at 2.5 cents in my opinion here. Alright. Did we look at Ordi? I know we gotta look at Ordi. And then I got a request here for Polkadot. Alright, so we'll look at Ordi and then Polkadot. Ordi currently trading at $11.29, up 7% today. It looks like the 200-day moving average is gonna. I'm expecting this to act as a resistance. That 200-day moving average is sitting at $11.37. If we get rejected, we could come down to the 100-day, sitting at $8.80. But I want to see Ordi get above some of these candlewick highs here, get above $11.97, and then also get above this other candlewick high at $13.61. I think that's going to be your first take profit target and your second take profit target if you're day trading or swing trading this. But as I start to zoom out, yeah, this thing has seen better days here. Had a better year last year. Yeah. In December, this thing was trading at like 53 bucks. And even higher than that, like almost $97 in March of 2024. Jeez. I don't know what this cryptocurrency does, but I got a feeling that it's starting to bottom out here in 2025 here. And we had a low here of $6.17 on June 22nd. And I'm expecting probably like April 6th or April 7th. Another low of $5.61. So you are technically still making higher lows here. And you're catching the bids here. But like I said, I think the 200-day moving average could act as resistance. And I think the first take profit target is going to be $13.57. It could go up another couple of bucks from here, and then then next take profit target's going to probably be like at this area here where it was trading sideways in January at like 18-19 bucks. But yeah, let's see. I'll quickly do a Fibonacci analysis on this. You got a 1272 at $12.62 and a 1618 at $14, and then you got the 2618 at $18. I think, yeah, $18 seems to keep coming back into play here. That should be a take profit target on your order here. All right, so that's 40 in a nutshell. Look at the banana. And then we'll take a look at the TARS AI. I think we already looked at SUI earlier. Oh. I think SUI's on its way to $5 in the near future here. Might not happen. It might happen this month, but I think a $5 SUI is probably going to be coming up on deck in August. And then we have a request here for Pi. Oh my God. Guys, you guys are just, I'm so overwhelmed with the requests here. I've been live streaming for almost 2 hours here. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to get to all these requests. Guerrero, I seen you in the request on the chat here before. I'll try to do Jasmine for you. But I'm probably gonna have to save these requests for tomorrow. We're gonna have to look at some of these charts tomorrow. Yeah, let's look at banana. Banana coin. Banana currently trading at $26.88, up 16% today. It actually had a pretty, it actually got higher than that earlier today at $29. Wow, okay. I do not know what this thing does, but it looks like it bottomed out here around like June and in April. It actually had another bottom here in March as well. Looks like it started trading on Binance Exchange in July of 2024. And let's see, how's my live stream doing? I'm wondering about my YouTube here. Looks like we're, let's see. Okay, yeah. I think I hear myself. I'm gonna do a quick sound check. Alright, yeah, for some reason I thought my live stream went down on my YouTube. But it didn't. We're still good there. Zoom back into Banana Coin here. I like this chart. I wish you requested this back here in on June, where we could have caught this thing near the lows. But you are getting a nice run up here. You're above the 200-day moving average, so above the red line. I can stay bullish on that coin as long as you're above the 200-day moving average, which it looks like you did that, and you made a statement today that you want to stay above the 200-day moving average. All right, so congratulations on doing that. This thing could come back down to the 200-day moving average, sitting at $22.80. Okay. Let me go ahead and quickly do a Fibonacci on this, and we'll get the Fib extension levels to see where this thing could possibly go next. We got a 1272 that says this thing can get up to like $34, and then a 1618 that says this thing can get up to like $40. And if we do decide to come down, I think that 200-day moving average is going to be pretty important at $22.80. and that puts you right in between the 0.5 retracement, and it also puts you right below the 618 retracement at $23.80. So if you can get this thing between $22 and $23, I think you'll be all right. And you can put your stop loss below the candlewick lows here at like $21.80. Put your stop loss there, and I think you should be good. I think you should be good on banana. All right. TARS AI and Athena. All right. And then Pebble was asking me, what do I mean by overbought? Overbought means exactly that. It means that too many people have bought the asset, and it probably needs to cool down a little bit. And we're talking about the RSI. When you see like the RSI on the oscillators here, let me just see if I can pull up on this one. But like, yeah, like the RSI for this banana coin is at 75.94. That's actually considered overbought. Anytime you're above 70 on the RSI, you're overbought, and it means that there's likely a pullback coming, or possibly could be going sideways, and then it continues going up again. But when something's overbought, that probably means that the likelihood of it continuing going up in price is very low compared to the likelihood of it going down or just staying where it's at. Hope that explains that for you. Alright, let's see. I gotta look at the Athena, right? And TARS AI. Alright, yeah, we'll look at the TARS AI next. I think we looked at TARS AI yesterday, but sure, let's look at it again. See if anything new happened. TARS crypto. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so we have looked at TARS AI. TARS AI currently trading at 8 cents right now. And I have looked at this before, and TARS AI is kind of like in a symmetrical triangle. Let me go ahead and get rid of the moving averages. You have a downtrend where you're making lower highs. You've been making lower highs ever since late May. But you're still in an uptrend, making higher lows here on the price. And you're kind of like just trading sideways, not really catching any bids here on TARS AI. But I think TARS AI, it could do one of three things. It could actually go down on us, which I don't think is likely, especially with Bitcoin near all-time highs and altcoin season getting pretty much starting up right now. I think most likely we'll probably go sideways and just frustrate the hell out of everybody, unless we get some positive catalysts that could send us to higher prices here. You know, usually when you enter a symmetrical triangle from, like, you know, you came down from a lower price and now you're here making higher prices here on TARS AI, you would think this thing should continue to trend and go up to higher prices. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this thing just continues going sideways for now. I know it's a little bit frustrating, but hey, you know, there's nothing that says, there's no guarantees that your asset, your crypto is going to actually go up in price just because you want it to go up. Okay, and let me go ahead and turn on the oscillators. TARS AI is looking like a good candidate to actually be buying, because the RSI is not overbought. You're in the middle. You're at an RSI like 44. Okay, oversold would be like 30 on the RSI. Overbought is like 70. You're in the middle ground. You're in neutral territory on the RSI. So TARS AI is just chilling out. Probably people forgot about TARS AI, and no one's really talking about it on social media except for us right now. So go ahead and tell your friends and family to like look into TARS AI. But I know TARS AI is also a little bit hard to buy. It is on Mexi Exchange, but you know, for those who are, you know, in the United States, you're not able to actually go on Mexi Exchange unless you use a VPN. Okay, so that makes it a little bit difficult for the Americans to be buying this TARS AI asset. You know, if it's on Coinbase, it makes it a lot easier because Coinbase is one of the popular American exchanges, and then Kraken is also a popular one as well. And since they're not on those exchanges, it makes it hard for TARS AI to actually catch some bids here. But I wouldn't be surprised. You could buy now later. You can buy now, and then when people figure out how to buy TARS AI, you're already in at a good price here at 8 cents, and then maybe this thing can go up to higher prices. I have highlighted 16.5 cents as a previous as a price target zone. We've seen 16.5 cents here back in May 27th. And this is also a level where we had some candlewick closes, some support at this area, and some resistance. So I'm thinking like 16.5 cents is a good target zone, and it's also a price where you would basically double your money in TARS AI if it just gets up to 16 cents. So why not make that your take profit? But yeah, TARS AI just chilling. You could put your stop loss below this candlewick low here, below 6 cents, so maybe like 0.059 pennies. And if TARS AI comes down to this level again, you might not want to stick around for that. And there might be something wrong with TARS AI, and you don't want to continue losing money, right? So I think a stop loss at like just below 6 cents is a good area to be putting your stop loss at. There's a lot of room between that. I think that's almost like a 30 or 25% stop loss. But you're risking 25% to try to gain 100%, right? At 16.5 pennies. Alright, so that's TARS AI. And we'll look at Athena and then Pi Coin. And yes, Mike, we'll look at Bitcoin. We always end the live streams here on Bitcoin. But yeah, I don't think I've talked about Bitcoin because everybody's seen what Bitcoin's done. It's made an all-time high, what, on Thursday or whatever, at like $123,000 or something like that. But yeah, we'll talk about Bitcoin on the way out. Let's look at Athena. Athena also catching the bids like these other old coins here, up 14.8%. Currently trading at 49 cents. And wow, okay, this is interesting. What is this garbage price action here? This thing got down to like 0.04 pennies. Wow, yikes! That's a scam wick if I ever saw one. Just trying to familiarize myself with Athena, see where it's done. This thing was trading as high as like 90 cents and even $1 back in like January. And now you're at like 49 cents, so you took like a 50% haircut discount. Let me go ahead and turn the moving averages on right now. 200-day moving average is below us now. We got above the 200-day moving average, sitting at like 44 cents. So you can start to be bullish here on Athena, in my opinion. You got above some of these candlewick, some of I'm sorry. You got above most of the highs here in May, and even back here in February. So Athena is looking pretty strong right now, but I'm assuming it's probably overbought on the RSI, yeah, at 82. So I wouldn't be rushing to get into this thing right now until you get like a little bit of a pullback, right? Now this thing's trading at 50 cents. Okay. But where could TARS AI go next? I'll quickly do a Fibonacci retracement. See where it could go next. You got the 1272 saying that this thing could get up to like 59 cents, probably maybe later on this week. 1618 saying 68 cents. And then you get the 2618 at 95 cents, which is confluent with where people were buying this thing back in January. So I think your long-term take profit target is going to be about 95 cents for Athena. And you'll basically be selling at the same prices that people bought back here in January. And those people probably want to click sell on Athena just to break even. So you'll be joining them once this thing does get up to like 90 cents, 95 cents here. But if Athena gets that pullback, right? Maybe it does get down to the 280 moving average at 44 cents, which is kind of in confluence with this 0.65 retracement. I'll be looking for a golden pocket. If this thing gets down to like 40, 41 cents, 42 cents, that's when I would be excited to buy some more of this asset if I wasn't already in it. Okay. Let's take a look at the Pi coin. And then we'll do Jasmine and Cardano. And then that's gonna be it for today, guys. And then I gotta look at Bitcoin, and then that's it for me today. We'll have to save the request for tomorrow. All right. So Pi coin. Pi network, I believe that's the one that we're looking for. Oh, Mario, thank you for sending the heart me. Guys, if you feel generous enough, you can send me, you know, these hearts and these roses or whatever. Appreciate the tips here on my TikTok stream. Thank you guys for sending the tips. All right, Pi coin, Pi network on OKX. Currently trading at 45 cents right now. Up 1.7%. Pi network hasn't been having a good week like some of these other altcoins are having, which could mean that there might be an opportunity here to make some money, right? If this thing does decide to capture the bids. I'm just zooming out here so you guys can see what Pi network has done. Looks like it started trading in February of 2025 here. Had a really good February where we got the pump. But then you came down, obviously, and then this thing created a lower high here in May when we got to like $1.67, and then it's just been down, 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 and to the right. But are you bottoming out here? Well, we could clearly see that we've made some lower lows here on the price. Let's see what the RSI is looking like. And you're making higher lows here on the RSI, so I do see bullish divergence on Pi. So this thing could possibly be bottoming out here. And Market Cipher B has a green dot that showed up yesterday saying that you should be buying Pi network. You should have been buying it yesterday. Okay, so you have the green light, the green dot saying it's okay to buy. Let's see what the MACD is showing. MACD is showing we obviously had some pretty bad selling pressure in June, and we got a little bit of bids here towards the end of June, but then beginning of July we had some selling pressure show up. But you're also getting higher lows here on the MACD, right? Less selling pressure, now you're getting buying pressure. So I like that. I like the bullish divergence that I'm seeing here on Pi network. This thing could be a sleeper and could be a potential buying opportunity. If this thing does climb up to higher prices, maybe the 21 EMA might act as resistance at 46 cents, 47 cents. But get above that 21 EMA and you could be reversing the trend here and going up to higher prices. Then we might see some resistance at 62 cents, which is where the 50-day moving average is at. And that's also kind of like where you're at back here in June, at like 62, 63 cents, right? But that could possibly be where we make a higher high, then make a higher low, and now we got ourselves the beginning of an uptrend on Pi network. Very interesting choice here. Okay, bullish divergence. I like it. I like this. I like the possibility of making money with this coin here. I think you might have caught the bottom, and then you know you can put your stop loss right below this candlewick low here at 42 cents. Very nice. Very nice. Might be worth taking a look at and doing some more research. Because if this thing's done bottoming out here, I think there's some money to be made here on Pi network. If we can just get back to that 50-day moving average from where we are right now, you're looking at like a 40% gain, okay? And then if we can get back to like where we were trading at back in like May, you're looking at like an 80% gain. But this thing could be at 81 cents in the near future here. And yeah, we have seen higher prices at like $1. If the thing gets up to $1, you definitely doubled your money. So I like it. I like it. I like this asset. Because you might have been catching, you may be catching the bottom here. Alright, we'll get Cardano and then we'll finish off. We gotta look at Jasmy as well. So let's take a look at Jasmy. Then we'll look at Cardano and then we'll look at Bitcoin after that. Jasmy coin. Let me get rid of this old analysis here. Jasmy coin up 13% today. Currently trading at a little bit under 2 pennies here at 0.019 pennies. And Jasmy coin is getting about the 200-day moving average and casting the bids. A lot of these coins are looking, a lot of these charts are looking the same for the most part, except for like the last one that we looked at, Pi Network. And Grass also looks like a buying opportunity in my opinion. But Jasmy, I don't know. Let's see. What is the RSI looking like? RSI sitting at 76, so it is in overbought territory. And you had your green buy dot on July 9th here. But a red dot could be coming up, and if it does show up on the market cipher B, then I would probably sell and take profit when I see that showing up. But Jasmy coin, since you're above the 200-day moving average, I can continue remaining bullish and have a bullish bias on this asset here. Looks like the next high that you need to get above is 0.021 pennies. Get above that level and you could say that you are definitely in an uptrend and you're making higher lows and higher highs at that point. I think I want to get rid of the moving averages for now, and we'll turn on the VRVP, see what the VRVP has to show. On the VRVP, you got a high volume node here at 2 cents, so yeah, I think that's going to be a take profit target and a psychological target. But get past 2 cents and you got to value your high that says that this thing, when it gets to 3 cents, that's probably where people are going to click the sell button on you. So I think that should be a take profit target for Jasmy, 3 cents. And then I got a high volume node here at like 0.032 pennies, and then another high volume node at like 4 pennies. Yeah, I think 3 pennies and 4 pennies should be your take profit targets on Jasmy in the near future here. I think it's just steady as she goes, you know, for Jasmy. If we do come down, let's see, if we do come down on Jasmy, I do see some sideways trading action here and a point of control at like 1.5 pennies, 0.016 pennies to be exact. That could be where you might be able to scoop up some cheaper Jasmy before this thing then decides to go up to higher prices. So I would start targeting this level as a buy zone if Jasmy does come down to that level. Alright, so that's Jasmy. And then we gotta look at Cardano and then Bitcoin. Cardano currently trading at 85 cents, up 3.49% today, also above the 200-day moving average, and also above this value area that we have right here. Cardano looks like it might actually start going into like price discovery mode here, but not really, because it has seen higher prices here. We've seen Cardano back in March as high as like $1.17, and back here in December $1.32. So I think those are going to be your take profit targets for Cardano. Let me get rid of the moving averages for now, and I'll put on the VRVP again. Your value area high is sitting at $1.05. I think $1.05 should be a take profit target as well for Cardano. And then you got a high volume node here at $1.08. So I think once you get above $1, that's probably going to be where people click the sell button on you. And there's going to be some resistance once you get above $1 on Cardano. If Cardano does decide to come down on you, the POC is sitting at 74 cents, so that would be a level for you to try to scoop up some cheaper Cardano, but that's only like, what, 10 cents below us. But yeah, I think Cardano will get support at like 74, 75 cents here. Alrighty. Should I do a Fibonacci? I think I might. Get rid of the VRVP for now. If you're a Fibonacci guy, you're probably looking for these levels here. 1272 at $1 or 99 cents, and a 1618 at $1.12. I think those are your take profit targets there. If Cardano does do a shallow pullback here, it might come down to the 618 at 76, 77 cents. I've already said 75 cents, so I think if you see Cardano get into the 70s here, that could be a good area to start buying some Cardano, and then you're trying to push this thing back up to $1. But yeah, that's Cardano from what I see, upside and downside targets there. And we'll move on to Big Daddy Bitcoin. Not really doing much today or this weekend. Up 0.3% today, up 350 bucks, which would have been a lot 10 years ago, 7 years ago maybe, but not really anymore. Bitcoin trading at 118,264. I do have a Fibonacci analysis here where I measured from like $98,000 Bitcoin, which is where we saw it at in June 22nd, up to the all-time high of 123,230 bucks. And what I see here with Bitcoin is we're just literally trading at the 786 retracement level at 117,900, $118,000 Bitcoin, which leads me to believe that Bitcoin is still bullish, still extremely bullish, that we only had a shallow pullback. If Bitcoin does decide to go down to lower prices here, then we could see Bitcoin get to the 0.618 level here at 113,700, or the 0.65 level at 114,500. This is your golden pocket. This would be a normal expected pullback, but Bitcoin is not really pulling back that much. So because Bitcoin is chilling out at the 0.786 retracement here, it leads him to believe that Bitcoin is still very bullish. And we might just retest the all-time high all over again here at $123,000 Bitcoin. And then if Bitcoin continues to go past that level, which I believe it will, as the weeks and months go by here, we got a 1272 that says $130,000 Bitcoin is the next take profit target. And then the 1618 saying $138,000 Bitcoin is the next take profit target after that. And then it gets a little bit more ridiculous here for Bitcoin, where we got a 2618 at $163,000 Bitcoin and a 3618 at $188,000 Bitcoin. I think those levels are still possible for Bitcoin, because if I pull up my Pi cycle indicator here, my Pi cycle indicator gives me this orange and green line here. The green line is sitting at $175,000 Bitcoin. We would need the price of Bitcoin to get up to that level at $175,000 before I would say that we're topping out on Bitcoin, and we possibly could be towards the end of the bull run here if Bitcoin gets up to that level. Because usually you have to, the Pi cycle indicator, when the orange line catches up to the green line here, that is usually a good predictor of the top for Bitcoin. And I have talked about this in previous live streams, but I know I got some new people here. You know, you can see that when Bitcoin actually gets up to that green line here, that's usually the top. At least, you know, for the foreseeable future, that's the top. We're not even close to getting to that green line right now, so we got a lot of room to go for Bitcoin before we start topping out. But let me just show you here back in 2021, for those who might remember. The this orange line did catch up to the green line here back in April of 2021, and that's when you could have been selling your Bitcoin for like $64,000, and that was the top of Bitcoin right there. Okay, same thing back here in 2017. Okay, you know, this orange line was doing its hardest and darnest to catch up to that green line, and when it actually did here, it was like December of 2017, and Bitcoin was trading at like $15,000-$17,000. You would have been catching the top, you know, around that level there. Okay, actually no, Bitcoin got up to like $19,000. You would have been catching the top using the pi cycle indicator. So this pi cycle indicator, very useful indicator that I still think is still in play here. We can still use it. And this orange line is right below us at $101,000 Bitcoin, and the green line is at $175,000 Bitcoin. And I think Bitcoin needs to go to 170 grand before we can even talk about this being the top or the end of this bull run here. I see Chris Klein is in the chat. Appreciate you coming in, kind of catching me towards the end of the live stream here. We're finishing up here with Bitcoin. And yeah, I'm just giving some more hopium for you guys. I don't think this bull run's done yet. I wouldn't be surprised if we see $200,000 Bitcoin, because, you know, we're comfortably in the $100,000 area now. And by the time, you know, let me just hide this for a second here. I do want to keep that. But by the time this orange line catches up to the green line, and the price catches up to the green line, we might be at like $200,000 Bitcoin before we actually top out and have the orange line, the price, catch up to that green line. Remember, this green line is still climbing up on us. We have to do some explosive, crazy price action just to catch up. And that's why I think $200,000 Bitcoin is still a possibility before we top out on Bitcoin. Alright, let me see if I can get my Fibonacci back. Yeah, there we go. Alright, we got it back. Cool. So that's going to be it for today, guys. If I missed out on your coins here, you just have to catch me on the next live stream. I've been live for about a couple hours here, and now it's time for me to get some lunch and you know, go about the rest of my day here. But guys, if you want to catch another live streamer that's going to go live and possibly give you some good technical analysis, Porky goes live later on tonight. He'll probably look forward to doing your requests here. Okay, and then also Trade Intuition. Let me see if I can get Trade Intuition back here. Trade Intuition. I believe he said he's gonna go live at 4 p.m. So about an hour and a half from now. And you know, if you guys weren't able to get your requests in, Joe can help you out with the technical analysis here. And he's going live about an hour from now. So check him out. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button on Joe and Porky. And yeah. Also, you can check out their TikTok channels as well. Porky's got a TikTok, and so does Joe. Okay, Trade Intuition. But yeah, that's gonna be it for today, guys. Appreciate you coming out to the live stream here, and good luck trading and investing in whatever asset you decide to get into. Take care, guys.